Wednesday, January. Oh, wow. Mercury, there you go again. And I'm not stopping this. I'm going to keep going. Today is Wednesday, June the 9th. All right, and this is my daily thought. No, I did not go back in time. Where to start? So I recorded the Quick 3 Tarot. I had, if for those who listen to the tarot card readings, I had a blooper on the Quick 3 Tarot too, which if you want to know about that, listen to it. I explain the whole situation on there as well. And also for those who are watching this on, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, or Daily Motion, as you know, when I do my videos, sometimes I multitask too. So, but for those who are listening, you won't see if I'm doing anything else. You'll just hear my voice, which that's another conversation that will be had later on this week. But I don't want to discuss that right now. One of the things that I actually do want to discuss is food. Food. Okay. So this is my situation. Everyone knows about the whole mono thing because I know people are like, Casey, if we hear about this mono thing one more time, I have to tell people to add context to it. So obviously it changed some things. My system has been different since then. And then of course I had told you I found out I had something else that comes from dogs or whatever. So yeah, I got a twofer when I shared food that night. But I digress. The point is that I'm always walking a tightrope when it comes to my eating. Because if I don't get enough food, then my body starts doing weird things. Where I'll start getting leg spasms at nighttime. I guess you call it restless leg syndrome or whatever, which I still get spasms from time to time anyway, but they eventually go away. But one thing I was noticing is that when I switched the chicken, because I usually eat chicken at nighttime, for those who are new to the show, for those who have been listening to the podcast, you know I eat chicken. But for the chicken, I switched it up to a different one, and I noticed that the portions were just a little bit smaller. The chicken breasts cuts were a little bit smaller. But I was just like, oh, well, okay, it should be fine. And then I had a bag of frozen vegetables. It was like the either Italian or Mediterranean vegetable medley. And when I ate, my stomach was still growling. And it was like, okay, you're still hungry. And I'm like, oh, hopefully I should be okay. But then I woke up in the middle of the night, not this morning, but the morning before. And, you know, I was having heart flutters and all types of stuff because obviously magnesium was low in everything else. And I was having trouble going back to sleep because I was having the spasms and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I need to increase my intake because I had been walking too, because I told you I was walking every other day because trying to stay fit and all that stuff. That burns off more energy, more calories, so you need more fuel. But I was still doing my regular intake. For those who may be new to the show, my usual meals consist of, I wake up in the morning, I'll eat a pack of low sodium tuna. I used to do albacore tuna, but they doubled the price. And I was not going to pay double the price for tuna, so I just switched back to regular, reduced sodium. So I eat a pack of low sodium tuna, and then I have a mug of pumpkin seeds, cashews, Greek yogurt, some frozen blueberries or sometimes fresh blueberries, and some walnuts. And that's what I eat for breakfast, usually. And then for lunch, I'll eat a sandwich or I'll eat a wrap. And then for dinner, I will eat some chicken and some vegetables is usually what I eat. I haven't been consuming a lot of carbs, a lot of starches or what have you. Sometimes I'll do the brown rice, sometimes I won't. It just depends. But for the most part, it's usually vegetables. It's usually I cook the chicken, bake it, or boil it, because I boil chicken too. And then I'll put it in a salad and do it that way. However, it seems like that gives me just enough to get by. Now, the thing is that when I was younger, and even up to, I'd probably say 2019, I would eat a lot because I have a high metabolism. I didn't really start gaining weight until late 2019, probably mid to late 2019. And I'm 6 feet tall. So, and I weighed close to 180, I think, around about close to 180 by the end of 2019. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, let me just go ahead and lose a few pounds. Because my average weight, what I've been most of my life, I mean, obviously you have your moments where it fluctuates, but for the most part, my weight has been between 150 and 165, but usually about 155, give or take, all of these years. It's just been like that. And then I'm reading something American Express just sent. I'm turning my head side for those who are watching it. Like, why is he turning his head sideways? The email came across my phone. But anyways, so with me gaining weight, it just hasn't been a thing throughout my life. And people would always say you eat so much, but you don't gain weight. And I don't know if it's because Mercury's in retrograde. And also, just so you know, things might get a little bit crazy tomorrow because we're going to have a solar eclipse in Gemini too. So if your mind's going, my mind was going this morning when I was in the process of taking a shower. I literally, after I finished my shower, I had to sit down on my bed and do a quick 5-minute meditation to calm my mind because it was all over the place this morning. So much that I was just like, okay, wait, what? All of the stuff, because I wasn't in the moment. I was in the past, I was in the future. The only place I wasn't at was in the present, which was pulling me every which way. And I had to stop for 5 minutes and meditate. And it helped so much. And I think I'm going to incorporate that into my daily routine, is what I think I want to do, because it really did help. But I digress. So I've been thinking about all of this stuff. I remember one of my good friends back in high school, we would go and eat, and her favorite place to eat was Burger King. And I love Burger King too, because the Whopper, good. So I would go with her to Burger King, and I remember I ordered 2 double Whoppers, a large fry, a medium onion ring, a large drink, and an apple pie. And she looked at me when I ordered all this stuff, and she's like, are you going to eat all of that? I'm like, yeah. And I ate it all. I've eaten entire pizzas on my own, because it's only like 8 slices. You know, and I've always eaten like this. If I've went to Del Taco, and this is before mono, I would order like 6 or 8 tacos, 2 burritos, 2, what do you call those things? Tostitas or whatever you call them. 2 of those, and then maybe something else. For breakfast, I usually eat like 4 sausage and egg biscuits, sometimes even more than that. I would just eat. And when you're young, it's different, because my parents would complain sometimes when I was eating so much when I was younger, as in 10, 11 or whatever. And my granny, my dad's mother, would always say, let him eat what he wants to eat because he's growing and he needs more food so he can grow. Because I would go to my granny's refrigerator all the time. I usually ask her, and then of course her reply would be, yeah, that's what the food is in there for, to eat. So But my parents used to hate when I would go to the refrigerator all the time. But I'm telling you this to let you know that I was pretty much a glutton, is what I was. I was eating because, not always because I was hungry, because being hungry and the food tasting good are two different things. Those are two different things. I was eating because the food was good and because I felt I could, because I didn't gain weight. That's why I did it. That's why I have been doing it. Mono happened last year and I lost, almost 40 pounds, still gaining it back best I can. And it just made me think about things, because when it first happened, there were certain foods that I couldn't even eat because my insides were so jacked up that it was just like if I ate certain things, it would not agree with me, where there would be spasms going on in my abdomen area, like I'm shooting a sequel to Aliens. If you've seen the Alien movie, the sci-fi movie where the alien keeps trying to get out of the stomach and come out of the chest and all that stuff. There were times where incidents like that happened when I ate certain things. So then that made me back away from food altogether for a little while. And now that I'm adjusting to eating again, I'm walking a tightrope. I know that I have to eat a little bit more. However, I don't want to fall back into old habits. I don't want to become a glutton. The goal is not to become a glutton again. The goal is to continue eating healthy, because, let me say this, first of all. Moderation, temperance, the card of temperance, Sagittarius, balance. You going to one side too much or going to another side too much isn't good. You always have to have balance. Too much of anything can be bad. Just like water is good for you, but if you drink too much water, you're going to have an issue. So, yeah, with fast food, for the most part, fast food is not really good for you. Not saying that you can't have it from time to time. My thing is, my thought process is that if I get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm backsliding, I don't want to take the time to prepare food, because that's the other thing too, where some people do meal prep, where they will cook what they plan on eating for the next few days. I'm too paranoid for that. I'm funny about food, especially now, after everything that's happened. And I'm just funny about preparing a meal and then eating it 3 or 4 days later. It doesn't really compute with me. I'm more of, let me go ahead and make it, and if I have leftovers, we'll do it for the next day and possibly the day after, depending on what my mood is, and take it from there. Not, okay, I'm prepping for 5 days ahead and we're going to throw it in the refrigerator or throw it in the freezer and then thaw it out or do this or do that and everything else. I'm just like, yeah. So I'm looking to find balance is what I'm looking to do. What I have done is I've added to my food routine. Now I'm including during my breakfast a slice of whole wheat bread, a slice of roast beef or turkey, and some egg whites. So I've added that to the menu now. That is my goal, to have that every morning, in addition to the pack of tuna and the pumpkin seed, cashews, Greek yogurt, blueberries, and walnuts in the morning. But spreading it out, where I'll have the slice of toast, the slice of roast beef or turkey, and the egg whites, like early in the morning, and then maybe an hour or two later, I'll have the pack of tuna and all the other stuff for breakfast and do that. I'm not a big fan of eating throughout the day, because also when you eat, the more that you eat or snack throughout the day, it can raise your metabolism too. I'm not necessarily looking to lose weight. I'm not looking to gain a lot of weight either. And not that I would, because it's very difficult for me to gain weight, believe it or not. So that's where I'm at with my situation. It's just like, I keep on thinking about the way I used to eat. And that's been on my mind. I told you, Mercury retrograde, it just makes you think about things. It makes you face things. Because I was asking myself, I'm like, okay, it was good, but why? Why did I eat all of that? Because a double Whopper, a large fry, and a large drink and an apple pie, that's a full meal. And see, that's the other thing too, where sometimes I feel like I'm eating a full meal, but my body's like, nope, we need more. The organs need more. We need more nutrients. We need more of this. We need more of that. It's like, but I just ate an entire salad. Nope. We need more. If we don't get more, you're going to get spasms. So, yeah, that's my conundrum. I think this is more like a therapy sesh. I should have put therapy session in this, because that's sort of what this is like than anything else. But that's the goal. I'm adding in that slice of bread, slice of roast beef, or slice of turkey with the egg whites, which it was very good this morning, by the way. I'm not a big cheese person anymore. I'll eat cheese if I do like a macaroni and cheese, which that'll be every blue moon. But for the most part, do you know how much fat is in cheese? And even in the vegan cheese, it has a lot of fat. Have you looked at the back of it? Look at the back of it. If you haven't looked at the back of it, look at the back of it. Compare the ingredients and the fat and everything else on the back of a vegan cheese and compare it to a regular one, like regular cheddar or regular mozzarella or Swiss or what have you. There's not a huge difference at all, at least not from what I had seen. Maybe I was reading the stuff wrong, but from what I was reading when I was at the store, pretty much looked like the same stuff to me. Just saying. So yeah, I'm not a big cheese person anymore. I used to put cheese on everything. Now, like I said, if it's a macaroni and cheese or something like that, maybe, but no. Now, I'm not looking to go vegan. That's just not my thing. I was watching a thing recently, and someone was talking about the protein part of being vegan, and they were saying that, well, silverback gorillas don't eat meat, which for some reason I thought gorillas ate meat. Maybe I misunderstood, but as in, I thought they ate plants and meat. They're, Carnivore is meat, herbivore is plant, omnivore is both, I think is what it is. I'm doing this off the top of my head here. So, yeah, I thought it was both. I thought they ate plants and meat. Could be wrong. But this individual was saying that they only eat plants and they managed to get all of their protein because obviously gorillas are very strong. However, some people say that for the human brain, especially when someone is growing and developing, they need certain proteins that can only be gained and certain fats that can only be gained from eating meat. And for those who believe in evolution, they were saying that without those particular fats and proteins, that we wouldn't have evolved into humans. We would have remained, I guess, Neanderthals or monkeys or whatever you want to say. I'm not really trying to dive into evolution and the science behind that, because quiet as it's kept, nobody was there when it happened. But I digress. I'm not looking to do a complete vegan thing. Now, I could probably go without pork because I haven't had it in a while. And I would say I do pork maybe once every 6 months, which would be good. Beef, I haven't had beef in a while. And I wasn't even eating ground beef. I was eating bison, buffalo. So cow, that hasn't really been my thing as of late anyway. But I don't really go towards the fake stuff either, because the studies had just came out that there's a lot of fat in those where people are like, oh, well, it's not red meat and it must be healthy for you. Survey says, no, there's a whole bunch of stuff they put in there that is not good for you. As a matter of fact, one of the studies has said that it can affect the hormones of men too. Same thing like if you drink a lot of soy milk as well. So I'm just not looking to do the complete vegan thing. I think I'm sticking with chicken and fish is what I want to do. And every now and then pork, every now and then beef. But my biggest thing is I have to get more nutrients, and I have to find a better balance with getting the nutrients that my body needs without overdoing it and without underdoing it. So I don't have issues when it comes to magnesium, which I take a little bit of magnesium every day. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't ever take the full thing that it says you can take. I do like a fourth of what it says you can take and do that, which magnesium is good. Taurate, if I'm not mistaken. It's a certain one because there's different types of magnesium, but I'm pretty sure it's taurate is the one that's good for the heart. So yeah, again, like I said, this kind of turned into a therapy sesh is what this turned into. I told you. Mercury retrograde has me in my thoughts. Too much so sometimes. But yeah, thank you to everyone, again, who's been supporting the podcast and just listening to everything. The listenership has been amazing. The average for the astrology part is usually about 8 to 10, which is good because overall, because I've done so many. When it comes to unique listens, this show averages, right now it's been averaging about 150 to 180 a week is what it's been averaging. So that's almost 600 a month, which compared to what it used to be, that's a huge difference. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's been kind enough to listen to the podcast. This weekend, my goal is to do probably, I don't know if I want to do a sports episode or something else. I might just do some entertainment news altogether. Just something different, switching it up a little bit and doing that. So we'll see what happens for this weekend. I know I will do something. I will more than likely, I'm 75% sure, I will do a reading for the collective for anyone who needs to hear and do that. I will probably do that this weekend for the collective. And I'll probably do it on video is what I will do. I don't see myself doing it on just the podcast. So yeah, I think that is mostly all I have. Yeah, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. As I always say, this podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible. That Audible one always throws me off a little bit because I never looked at Audible as a podcast, because I was thinking Audible would be for books, but I guess because Audible is owned by Amazon and because the podcast is distributed through Amazon, Amazon's like, oh, well, we'll put it on Audible too. But yeah, it's also on Audible, as well as other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all social media platforms. Thank you again to everyone. Until next time, be blessed.